As a physician, I was trained to believe that after 75, meat was non-negotiable. Protein equals muscle, muscle equals survival. That was the formula we followed. That was what the research supported, or so we thought. But what I discovered reviewing metabolic data from my own patients over 75 completely challenged that belief. Because after this age, your body does not process protein the way it did at 50 or even 65. Digestion slows, enzyme output drops, absorption efficiency declines, and certain traditional foods that have been quietly used for generations begin to outperform meat in ways that genuinely surprised me. Here is what most seniors are never told. After 75, your muscle cells become resistant to stimulation. Researchers call it anabolic resistance. That means you can eat a full steak, feel completely satisfied, and still fail to trigger the muscle-building response your body desperately needs. The protein arrives, but the door is closed. Meanwhile, specific traditional foods contain bioactive compounds that actually open that door. They amplify amino acid signaling, reduce inflammation, and improve nutrient absorption at the cellular level. In controlled aging studies, some of these foods enhanced muscle protein activation markers up to 3 times higher than meat alone when tested in older adults. And the benefits went beyond muscle. Inflammation dropped, recovery improved, blood sugar stabilized, and even sleep quality shifted. This is not about abandoning meat. It is about understanding that after 75, efficiency matters more than quantity. Your body no longer responds to brute force nutrition. It responds to precision. I am Dr. Emily Carter, and today I am going to share the 5 traditional foods that outperformed meat in older adults for muscle preservation, metabolic health, and long-term strength, ranked from least powerful to most transformative. Stay with me until the end because number 2 stunned researchers when seniors consuming it showed dramatically better muscle retention despite eating less total protein overall. All supporting scientific references are linked in the description below. But before we dive in, how old are you right now? And do you feel like the protein you eat is actually making you stronger after 75? Write your age in the comments below. Our team goes through every single comment and replies personally, almost like a live clinic discussion happening right under this video. Let us start with number 5, a food that has been sitting quietly in kitchens for over 1,000 years. Yet, its impact after 75 is far greater than most people realize. Number 5, fermented soybean paste, miso. Before you scroll past thinking this is just a trendy Japanese ingredient, hear me out because the science behind this humble paste is genuinely remarkable. In regions of Japan where elderly people consume miso daily, rates of osteoporosis, muscle wasting, and joint degeneration are dramatically lower than what we see in Western countries. A landmark study published in the Journal of Nutritional Science found that the fermentation process transforms ordinary soy protein into a highly bioavailable form that aging bodies can absorb up to 12 times more efficiently than unfermented protein sources. In plain terms, when you are over 75 and your digestive system is naturally slowing down, miso essentially does a large portion of the digestion work before the food even reaches your stomach. The beneficial bacteria created during fermentation have already broken the proteins down into smaller peptides and amino acids that your gut can immediately put to use. But there is more. Miso is also rich in vitamin K2, one of the most critical and overlooked nutrients for bone health in older adults. Vitamin K2 does not just help your body absorb calcium, it directs calcium to your bones, where it belongs, and away from your arteries, where it causes damage. Researchers at the University of Tokyo found that elderly adults who consumed miso soup at least 4 times per week had significantly higher bone mineral density compared to those who rarely consumed fermented soy. To prepare it correctly, never boil miso directly. High heat destroys the live probiotic cultures. Instead, bring your broth to a gentle simmer. Remove from heat. Then, stir in 1 to 2 tablespoons of miso paste. Add seaweed, green onions, tofu, or mushrooms for a complete and deeply nourishing meal. Consistency is what makes miso work. The benefits compound as the probiotics establish themselves in your gut and steadily improve your overall nutrient absorption day after day. As powerful as miso is, the next food takes muscle preservation to an entirely different level. Number 4. Bone broth from slow-simmered marrow bones. Not the watery canned version, not the powdered packets that are mostly salt and flavoring. Real bone broth, the kind that takes 24 to 48 hours of gentle simmering to properly extract every bit of nutrition locked deep inside the bones. When researchers analyzed genuine slow-cooked bone broth, what they found was remarkable. The broth contained high concentrations of collagen peptides, glycosaminoglycans, and hyaluronic acid, all essential for maintaining joint cartilage, connective tissue integrity, and skin elasticity in aging adults. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that the collagen extracted through long, slow cooking is absorbed at rates that significantly exceed commercial collagen supplements. In adults over 75, this absorption advantage is even more pronounced because the gelatin form of collagen in broth bypasses many of the digestive barriers that make pill-form collagen so inefficient for older adults. A clinical trial at Penn State University found that elderly participants who consumed 2 cups of bone broth daily for 8 weeks showed measurable improvements in joint mobility and significantly less pain during physical activity. The researchers credited the synergy between collagen, bioavailable calcium and magnesium, and the amino acid glycine, a combination no single supplement can replicate. Glycine alone is a quiet powerhouse for seniors. It supports healthy sleep, reduces inflammation, and plays a central role in producing glutathione, your body's master antioxidant, which naturally declines with age. To prepare it, use a mix of marrow bones, knuckle bones, and joint bones from grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chicken. Cover with cold filtered water. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to help draw out the minerals, and simmer for at least 24 hours for chicken and up to 48 hours for beef. When the broth cools and turns into a thick, jiggly gelatin, that jiggle is pure collagen. Drink 1 to 2 warm cups per day on an empty stomach, or use it as a base for soups and stews to add deep nutrition to every meal. Now, if bone broth impressed you, wait until you hear what number 3 does for your aging muscles. Number 3. Dark leafy greens cooked in healthy fat. Spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, mustard greens. Staple foods in traditional diets across Africa, the Mediterranean, India, and the American South for centuries. Here is where most people get this completely wrong. Eating a raw salad is fine for younger adults, but for anyone over 75, raw leafy greens present a real problem. The tough cellulose walls of raw plant cells are extremely difficult for an aging digestive system to break down, which means you absorb only a small fraction of the nutrients locked inside. Traditional cultures figured this out long before modern science caught up. They always cooked their greens, and they almost always cooked them with healthy fat. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when dark leafy greens are gently cooked and consumed with a fat source, olive oil, ghee, or coconut oil, absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, K, and E increases by 300 to 500% compared to eating them raw. For seniors, that difference shows up in your bones, your immune system, and your brain. Dark leafy greens are also among the richest dietary sources of natural plant nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, essential for healthy blood flow. Research from Wake Forest University found that older adults who consumed nitriteric greens daily showed significant improvements in blood flow to both the brain and muscles. And those who ate their greens cooked with fat showed measurably better muscle oxygenation during exercise than those taking nitric oxide supplements. The preparation is beautifully simple. Heat 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil or ghee over medium heat. Add minced garlic, then your greens, and cook for 5 to 8 minutes until wilted and tender, but still vibrantly colored. Do not overcook them to gray. That destroys heat-sensitive nutrients. Season with sea salt and a squeeze of lemon juice, which adds vitamin C and significantly boosts iron absorption. Aim for a serving with at least 1 meal every day, rotating between different varieties throughout the week to get the full spectrum of phytonutrients each one offers. Those greens are powerful, but the food at number 2 has researchers calling it the most complete protein source for aging adults. Number 2. Whole sardines eaten with their soft, edible bones intact. I know what some of you are thinking, but when it comes to the specific nutritional needs of adults over 75, sardines are genuinely in a league of their own, and the research makes an overwhelming case. A comprehensive review published in the journal Nutrients found that whole sardines with bones are one of the only single food sources on the planet that simultaneously deliver complete protein, omega-3 fatty acids in their most bioavailable EPA and DHA forms, highly absorbable calcium from the edible bones, vitamin D chronically deficient in elderly adults, vitamin B12 for nerve function and cognitive health, and selenium, a powerful antioxidant. That is an almost impossibly complete nutritional profile in one small affordable fish. The calcium story alone makes sardines essential for anyone over 75. Researchers at TUS University found that the body absorbs calcium from sardine bones at a significantly higher rate than from supplements, because sardine bones contain calcium in its natural matrix, alongside phosphorus, and coactors your body recognizes and utilizes far more efficiently than the isolated calcium carbonate found in most pills. In a world where hip fractures from osteoporosis are one of the leading causes of disability and death in elderly adults, this finding carries real weight. Then there is the omega-3 story. The EPA and DHA in sardines are potent anti-inflammatory agents, and chronic low-grade inflammation, what researchers now call inflammaging, is recognized as a primary driver of muscle loss, joint degeneration, and cognitive decline in older adults. A study from the University of Aberdeen found that elderly participants who consumed omega-3 rich small fish like sardines at least 3 times per week showed significantly reduced markers of systemic inflammation and experienced less muscle loss over a 12-month period compared to those eating the same amount of protein from meat. The researchers specifically noted that protein and omega-3s combined in the same food created a more powerful effect than consuming them separately as supplements. Choose whole sardines packed in extra virgin olive oil. The omega-3s from the fish and the monounsaturated fats from the olive oil create an enhanced absorption effect. Eat them on whole grain toast with lemon. Mash them with avocado, toss them into pasta, or layer them on top of your cooked dark leafy greens from number 3 for one of the most nutritionally dense meals an older adult can eat. Always eat the bones. They are soft enough to chew easily, and that is where the majority of the calcium lives. Aim for at least 2 to 3 servings per week. Sardines are phenomenal, but nothing we have covered so far even comes close to what is waiting at number 1. Number 1. Slow-cooked lentils and legumes. The science behind this choice is so compelling that it is fundamentally reshaping how the world's leading longevity researchers think about protein and aging. This is not a food trend. This is backed by decades of research from the longest-running population studies ever conducted on human longevity. When Dan Buttner and his team identified the 5 blue zones, the regions where people consistently live the healthiest and longest lives, reaching 90 and 100 at rates 10 times higher than average, they found one dietary factor present across every single one of them. Not meat, not fish, not dairy. The daily consumption of legumes, particularly lentils, chickpeas, black beans, and fava beans. A massive study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked elderly populations across multiple countries for 7 years and found that for every 20g increase in daily legume intake, the risk of death from all causes dropped by approximately 7 to 8%. No other food group came anywhere close to that survival benefit. But here is where the story gets truly remarkable for adults over 75 specifically. Researchers at the USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging at TUS University found that lentils contain a unique combination of protein and resistant starch that creates a slow-release amino acid effect. Unlike meat protein digested in a rapid spike that older bodies often cannot fully utilize, the protein from slow-cooked lentils is released gradually over several hours, giving aging muscle tissue a sustained supply of amino acids for repair and maintenance. This slow, steady delivery matches how elderly muscles actually process protein. That is why the effective muscle-building power of lentil protein in adults over 75 can dramatically exceed what the same quantity of animal protein achieves. Second, lentils are rich in resistant starch, a fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. When those bacteria ferment resistant starch, they produce short, chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which reduces systemic inflammation, strengthens the gut lining, improves immune function, and enhances calcium absorption from everything else you eat. This is something no meat product can replicate. Third, lentils are one of the best dietary sources of folate, iron, potassium, and magnesium, all commonly deficient in elderly adults and critical for heart health, muscle function, and blood pressure regulation. To prepare them for maximum benefit, soak your lentils for 4 to 6 hours or overnight. This dramatically reduces lectins and phytic acid that can interfere with mineral absorption and cause digestive discomfort. Drain and rinse thoroughly. Add them to a pot with fresh water, or even better with bone broth from number 4 for a powerful synergistic combination. Add onions, garlic, turmeric, and cumin, all of which bring their own anti-inflammatory benefits. Cook on low heat for 45 minutes to an hour until completely tender and creamy. That soft, creamy texture matters. It means the cellular structure has been fully broken down, making every nutrient maximally accessible to your digestive system. Finish with a generous squeeze of lemon juice and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil to boost iron absorption and fat-soluble vitamin uptake. This is ancient food wisdom that modern clears throat nutritional science has now confirmed again and again. The traditional approach is one bowl of lentils or legumes every single day. And based on everything we know from the Blue Zone's research and clinical studies, that daily habit may be the single most impactful dietary change any adult over 75 can make for their long-term strength, health, and longevity. So, there you have it. 5 traditional foods that science is proving are far more powerful for adults over 75 than conventional meat, heavy dietary advice. From the gut-healing fermentation of miso at number 5, to the collagen-rich depth of real bone broth at number 4, to the vitamin-unlocking power of dark leafy greens, cooked in healthy fat at number 3, to the near-perfect nutritional profile of whole sardines at number 2. And finally, to the undisputed longevity champion, slow-cooked lentils and legumes at number 1. Every single one of these foods is affordable, easy to find, simple to prepare, and backed by serious scientific research. And here is the most important thing I want you to take away. You do not need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start with 1 or 2 of these foods this week. Make them a regular part of your routine and let the compound benefits build over time. Your bones, your muscles, your gut, your brain, and your heart will all thank you for it. The traditional wisdom of our ancestors is being confirmed by 21st century science. And now you have the knowledge to put it into action. If this video gave you something valuable today, please hit subscribe and share it with someone you love who is over 75. It could make a real difference in how they feel and how they age. I am Dr. Emily Carter, and I will see you in the next